Hello, Linda from Curtin Creative Gallery, here to read chapter 24 of The Spending of a Life's Breath by Amanda Grace Windward. In chapter 24, we read more of Mandy's journals. September 4th, 2000. Labor Day. No show for Roger all weekend for the kids. I worked all weekend and they waited for their dad all weekend. I work all weekend so I can be with the boys all week and he can't show up to help us out on the weekends. Weekend after weekend, they wait and they are let down. They are lucky if he gives them a call to cancel or sees them for a couple of hours every couple of weeks. They are tired and hurt of waiting for your crumbs, Roger. I just called you and told you all of this. I told you I am ashamed of you. I don't know who you are anymore. I am not going to let you blame me for any of this that's happening to us as a family or with the boys. You said you never blamed me, and you've been going through something. And you're ill today with chest pains, and last night you had to take 2-3 nitro. I told you we've been putting the kids aside for 6 years, supposedly because of his heart problems. We can't allow this to continue. You could live like this for another 20 years, but you'll have lost all this time with the kids. Then you said, you've always been ashamed of me. And I said, no, I haven't. Oh, I see, he said, you've always been ashamed of me. And Mandy said, no, I haven't. I always put you up on a pedestal like a hero, but now I don't know who you are. Roger, I'd like to say I'm tired of being the strong one. I'd like to say I'm tired of having to obey all the rules and try to do what's right. I could say it's not fair and it's your turn. I've said it, but you say tough. You get to go play with your new childless Marcelina and turn your back on me and all together and your kids. Now caring to be a good husband or good father and being bad just because you want to be. Not caring to be a good husband or good father and being bad just because you want to be. I wonder what it feels like to be so selfish. I've decided not to do this anymore and walk away from you. Excuse me. So just send money. Okay, cold money. And the 2 lousy hours here and there that you can spare for your sons. But someone must be there on board, and I guess that has to be me. You knew I would take care of it. That's why this is all so easy for you. I've always taken up the slack for you. You always were a royal slacker when it comes to relationships. Thanks a bunch for caring, not understanding how to love like a husband or a father. I wish I had accepted you at face value. The rose-colored glasses are now off, though, and I do not like what I see. I wouldn't marry the man I finally see you are if you were the last man on earth. I was such a dumb fool to ever believe in you. Mandy writes another poem at this point. It's called Once Upon a Time. Once upon a time you were my hero. Once upon a time our love did shine. But now for me you bring along the dark clouds and kill our life together for all time. Our family echoes sadness with each dark passing day, while a harlot with a sin-filled heart steals all your heart away. Once upon a time we all were happy. Once upon a time you and I were one. Once upon a time we shared a love song, but now those happy days for us are done. You always said you wanted me. You always said you needed me. You said you loved me most of all. But how quickly you forgot those words, or were they ever truly meant at all? I wonder what you say to her, and does she feel the same? Or is this love between you both just another cruel, cold, cruel game? September 11th, 2000. Another song written by Mandy, titled, How Many Times Can You Say Goodbye? My love for you has drifted away, and I don't want you any more, or so you say. We do not see eye to eye, so how many times can you say goodbye? How many ways can you try to explain? Those things between us are just not the same. When did it happen? When did it start? Why do you pull away with your heart? How can you tear our love apart? Time and memories, our life full. You can throw it all away and life with the family kill. She came along and stole your heart, and now, my darling, we must part. She came along and our love died. She stole your heart, and my heart cried. Next journal entry is September 17th, 2000. It's a Sunday. Mandy says, how do I feel? Question mark. So alone. Throughout my marriage, I've said I feel lonely in a crowd for some reason, like I never did quite belong, like I was just there to be used and help everyone or feel for everyone, oversee, smile with other people's smiles, cry for their sorrows. But something was always missing, and that was love and affection from my husband. He was a broken boy, and now a broken man, a very selfish lover, and even less for giving emotional support. I should have realized my love alone couldn't keep the relationship up forever. But I had always hoped that one day he would open his emotional barricade and show me affection back. Sex wasn't everything after all. Seeing my high school boyfriend once again after my father's death helps me remember what it was like to have someone who knows how to take you in his arms like it means something to him. I haven't really had that from Roger through our marriage. It was a he needs my type relationship. I was there to tend to his needs and build him up strong for the family. Very early on in our marriage, on our weekend honeymoon, I realized Roger couldn't connect intimately with a woman, but I learned to love him anyway. He was always too busy chasing or being chased by a bear, I used to call it. I learned to grow my love for him, strong and unconditionally, even without getting the affection back. I had faith that he did love me the same. He was like loving a stone a lot of the time, and that wasn't always that easy. You could look into his eyes and see a blankness that you couldn't get through to. He was not much on talking about anything serious. When he did talk, he blurted out the first thing that came to his mind without giving it thought. getting himself in a lot of trouble most of the time when it came to personal issues. And then he would just beat himself up verbally and call himself names, saying he hates that he's like his father, when I told him he hurt someone's feelings. He had a good mind for mechanical and technical and mathematical things, though. I was raised a Catholic girl and stayed faithful to my emotional stone of a husband, believing that with love and prayer someday he would come out of his cold, grouchy shell. Now look at what I get for it. I'm 51 years old and left like a yesterday's trash at the curb to raise our youngest sons alone. And to boot, I must swallow the fact that my husband, a dry drunk for 25 years, was going to be a cheating jerk and bring a sin-filled home wrecking woman, drinking buddy, into my children's lives. He only gave the kids crumbs of himself before, being such a busy man, and now the kids must scramble for even smaller crumbs, playing second to the selfish woman for his affection. I can't believe I spent most of my life scrambling for those crumbs myself. They were always so sparse. They could hardly sustain a person, and if I hadn't been raised Catholic, he wouldn't have been so lucky to have spent 30 of those years I gave him. Yet I did love him, the prickly stone, desperately and deliberately, and now I realize he did not deserve my love. I believed in God's words about marriage. Now I wonder if I married God's words, because I can see now my husband couldn't honor such a promise. So how do I feel? I feel finished. I feel finished with Roger, greatly disappointed and painfully choked up in my heart. I regret choosing to marry Roger and giving up an opportunity to marry someone who can't just say the words, I love you, but express their love. Give and take, not just take. It's my own stupidity. I believed Roger when he said he loved me, even though he had so much difficulty expressing it. Now I wish I had waited for someone who could show he could love me back before we married. Someone I could reach out to and who could open his arms to reach back, not someone who would stand there looking dumb and acting like he didn't have a clue what I was looking for. In his way of letting me know he wanted something intimate would be to poke it at me and say, This many years later, I find out from my therapist that it probably wasn't shyness or not knowing. It probably had something to do with passive aggressiveness. He has a problem with women because of what he saw with his father, with his alcohol and womanizing in Roger's childhood, or having issues with one stepmother after another, or the way his father treated him. It seemed he had a demon inside that he was always fighting. He promised me someday he would see a psychotherapist to get help. Because of this problem Roger seemed to have with intimacy, it was difficult when planning to have our children, but I did not give up. Maybe it was because he changed his mind about having children after we immediately got involved with his needy sister and her children. Or maybe he had just humored me about wanting children. I had to plead with him each time, and then we did have 5 biological children in total in the end. The first, our eldest, our male child, and the 3 youngest. Who are the youngest children in our continuously growing melting pot family of 13 children, adopted and biological. In the beginning, Before we even got married, we both agreed upon our plans to have a home filled with a dozen children. Or did he just humor me? I thought we both knew what we were getting into. We made each other promises. I kept my promises. I promised to grow my love hard and strong, and I did, as deep as I could. Love anyone. I think I devoted my love life to him in his developing yet life. I promised to quit my job to be a loving, stay-at-home, supportive housewife, watch his children, and cook and clean and take care of the children because we planned to have so many. Falling in love with my high school friend came naturally. Loving Roger like a husband took a bit of work once I saw he had a problem showing his own affection, so that didn't come so naturally, but he promised to work on that. And because he couldn't show love back, I had to love him all the tighter. How crazy is that? The harder it was for him to express his love, the stronger I built my love to carry us. Now I can see that may have been a mistake, and that's what makes letting go so hard now, I guess. The fact my life was built around sustaining his life wasn't wise. Now he has pulled himself out of the picture, and I don't know how to live a life for myself. Do I have any skills that could help me support this family alone? Not that I could stop trying if I didn't. I still have to have this life. I still have this life we were building together with all these children to finish. With or without him, we still have the family to take care of, even if he can just walk away from those responsibilities. It just makes my job that much more difficult, and I'm just not quite myself. I seem to have lost many of my skills I did have, and the doctor is still saying it's because of depression and everything will come back to me in time. I hope it does soon. I can't believe this is me, this weak and confused all the time. I'm just not myself. I don't seem to have the strength. I can only take one day at a time and hope this blackness will somehow clear soon so I can get on with the business of making a life for me and what's left of our family. It's the end of chapter 24. I'll see you next time with chapter 25. Later, Gators. Have a good day.